300,000 people took a harmless personality quiz on Facebook. By the end, 87 million people had their data taken by a political consultancy called Cambridge Analytica, and not one of them was hacked. So the world reached for the obvious words: breach, hack, stolen. A shadowy firm broke in and weaponized our minds to swing an election. Almost every part of that is wrong. There was no break-in. The door was open by design, and the company that built it had already signed a promise to a regulator that it wouldn't be. Case File 8. Cambridge Analytica. In 2018, a whistleblower went on the record. Christopher Wiley had helped build Cambridge Analytica, and he called it a tool for manipulating a nation. The Guardian and the New York Times ran the story. Facebook lost tens of billions in a week, and its founder was summoned to Congress. The version that lodged in memory was simple and frightening. A personality quiz had secretly stolen 87 million people's data, and a firm had used it to read voters' minds and tip both Brexit and the 2016 American election. Hacked, breached, brainwashed. Every one of those words is wrong. Start with the biggest. Nobody broke in. To see why, you have to see how Facebook was built. In 2007, it opened itself up to outside apps, quizzes, games, horoscopes, and to make itself irresistible to the people building them, it offered a deal. Install an app, and it could reach not just your information, but your friends' information too. Their likes, their hometowns, their birthdays. Read that again. Your friends never installed the app. Your friends were never asked. They never agreed to anything. One person tapping allow handed over the details of everyone they knew. That was not a bug. That was the product. And here is the part to hold on to. In 2012, years before any of this, an American regulator called the FTC had already caught Facebook telling people their data was private when it wasn't. Facebook signed a legal order promising to stop. Remember that signature, it comes back. Now the quiz. In 2014, a Cambridge University researcher named Alexander Kogan built an app called This Is Your Digital Life, a personality test. He paid people $1 or $2 to take it. About 270,000 did. But because of the Friends deal, the app did not stop at them. It reached out through every friend and every friend of a friend until it had touched 87 million people. From a few 100,000 quizzes, the personal lives of tens of millions. Then Kogan handed the whole haul to Cambridge Analytica, a consultancy that sold help winning elections. The quiz had told people it was for academic research. Passing the data to a political firm broke Facebook's rules flatly. But notice what did not happen. No firewall was breached, no password was stolen. The gate was standing open, exactly as designed, and Kogan simply walked through it. So what did Facebook do when it found out? This is the heart of it. By early 2015, 3 senior Facebook managers were already trading emails about Kogan's app. The country's own privacy regulator later confirmed that to Parliament. Months before the public heard a word, people inside Facebook knew. When the story surfaced at the end of 2015, Facebook did not warn the 87 million. It asked Kogan and Cambridge Analytica to certify, to tick a box, confirming they had deleted the data. And then Facebook did not check. It took the box at its word. The data was not deleted. Copies survived for years. The only thing standing between 87 million people and a political firm was a promise on the honor system from the people who had just broken the rules. Because every control that was supposed to stop this turned out to be for show. Facebook ran a badge called Verified Apps, meant to certify that an app was safe. Regulators found it certified nothing. The company had signed that legal order in 2012, promising not to misrepresent who could take your data, and here it was, doing exactly that. And its fix for the actual breach was a checkbox nobody read. When the FTC finally ruled in 2019, it did not mince words. Facebook had violated its 2012 order by deceiving users about their ability to control their own privacy. And it had taken, quote, inadequate steps to deal with apps it knew were breaking the rules. The controls existed. On paper, every one of them was a costume. Which brings us to the second thing everyone believes. The frightening part, That Cambridge Analytica could read your personality from your likes and change how you vote. This was the company's own sales pitch: 5,000 data points on every American. Personality scores, a model it branded Ocean. Its chief executive, Alexander Nix, was caught on a hidden camera boasting about honey traps and bribery stings. A man selling a product turned all the way up, but when researchers went looking for proof the product actually worked, they mostly could not find it. There is little evidence that scoring your personality and aiming ads at it changes votes at all. As one analysis put it, it is absurd to take a company's own sales claims as proof its product works. The targeting that does move people is boring. Where you live and whether you have voted before. The terrifying machine at the center of the scandal may never have worked. What was real was the data itself and the promise Facebook broke to protect it. One person cut through all of it. David Carroll, an American professor, did the simplest thing imaginable. He asked the company, "What do you actually have on me?" He filed in Britain, the one place the law gave him the right to ask. Cambridge Analytica would rather be punished than answer. It was fined £15,000 for ignoring the order to comply, and still never handed over his full file. One citizen asked the obvious question. The answer was a small fine and a shrug. Eventually, the bills came due. In July 2019, the FTC fined Facebook $5 billion, the largest privacy penalty in American history, roughly 20 times the previous world record. The order now forces Mark Zuckerberg himself to personally certify that the company is following the rules, on pain of his own liability. The same day, the SEC fined Facebook another $100 million for telling investors the risk of data misuse was, in its words, merely hypothetical, when it already knew the misuse had happened and had known for more than 2 years. Britain's regulator fined Facebook £500,000, the maximum the old law allowed, because the harvest happened before the tougher rules existed. And Cambridge Analytica itself filed for bankruptcy in 2018 and vanished. The company died. The platform that fed it is worth more than $1 trillion. So here is the whole thing, stripped of the legend. 2 comforting stories grew up around this scandal: that Facebook was hacked, and that Cambridge Analytica was a mind control weapon. Neither is true, and the truth is worse than both. A company built a door that handed strangers the private lives of people who never agreed to anything. It promised a regulator it would stop. It learned the door had been used, and it closed the case with a checkbox it never read. You were told your data was stolen. It wasn't stolen. It was shared, exactly the way it was designed to be, by a company that had already signed its name to a promise not to. The lock on 87 million people was a box somebody ticked, and nobody ever checked it. This was Case File 8. This was Caught.